governance is moving beyond principles and good intentions. Around the world, regulators are turning expectations into obligations. In this module, we'll connect AI rules, privacy, security, sector compliance, and assurance into one practical enterprise governance lens. So far, you've built the internal foundation: transformation, governance, risk management, and secure operations. Now we shift outward to how regulators translate those same concepts into requirements for compliance, evidence, and assurance. AI is shaping hiring, lending, care, and public services. As decisions become more automated and harder to explain, regulators are asking a simple question: who is accountable when AI causes harm? Compliance for AI is layered, not single source. One enterprise system may trigger AI-specific duties, privacy rules, sector requirements, consumer protection, intellectual property concerns, and internal governance standards at the same time. The key mental model is cumulative obligation. Meeting one layer does not satisfy the others. Strong programs turn that complexity into controls, ownership, documentation, and audit evidence, so teams can show not only that the system works, but that it is governed responsibly. The EU AI Act is built around a simple idea: the greater the potential harm, the stronger the controls. Some uses are prohibited outright. High-risk systems, such as those affecting employment, education, safety, or essential services, require rigorous governance, documentation, monitoring, and human oversight. Limited-risk systems focus mainly on transparency, like telling users they are interacting with AI or viewing synthetic content. Minimal-risk tools face lighter obligations. And importantly, the Act can affect companies worldwide when their AI reaches the EU market. Under the EU AI Act, classification starts with the use case, not the technology. First, ask whether the practice is prohibited, such as manipulation or exploitation. If not, check whether it operates in a high-risk domain like hiring, education, essential services, policing, or migration. Then consider transparency duties, especially for chatbots or generated content. If none apply, the system may be minimal risk, but enterprises still need governance, documentation, and responsible AI controls. For high-risk AI systems, compliance becomes an operating model, not a final legal check. It begins with risk management from design through deployment. Data governance must show quality, representativeness, and bias controls. Technical documentation and records make the system auditable. Teams also need transparency, human oversight, accuracy, robustness, cybersecurity, and ongoing monitoring, so issues can be detected and controlled after release. Transparency is not the same message for every audience. A user may need clear notice that they are speaking with AI. A person affected by a decision may need an explanation and a way to challenge it. Auditors and regulators need evidence, logs, and controls. Human oversight connects these needs. Reviewers must be trained, documented, and able to intervene. The goal is appropriate understanding and accountability, not exposing every technical detail of the model. Responsible AI does not end at deployment. Regulators expect a living evidence trail across the life cycle: why the system was built, how data and models behave, what risks were identified, and which controls were applied. Records and logs make decisions traceable when incidents occur. Post-market monitoring then checks real-world performance, misuse, drift, feedback, and control effectiveness. The outcome is audit-ready evidence that stays current, versioned, accessible, and tied to accountable owners. Privacy regulation turns AI governance into concrete design questions. What personal data are we using, and what is the lawful basis? Is the purpose clear? Are we collecting only what we need? If profiling or automated decisions affect people, transparency, human review, and impact assessments may be required. Sensitive data raises the bar further. The best control is privacy by design. Involve privacy, security, architects, and model owners before data enters the pipeline. General AI governance is only the starting point. In regulated sectors, the same model may trigger very different obligations. Healthcare adds privacy, clinical safety, validation, and access control expectations. Finance adds model risk management, explainability, fairness, fraud controls, and audit trails. Critical operations adds resilience through third-party risk, incident reporting, continuity, and cybersecurity. The practical lesson is simple. Classify the use case by sector early, then map evidence to both AI rules and sector regulator expectations. Outside the EU, AI regulation is not following one single model. The United States tends to layer sector rules, agency guidance, state laws, procurement requirements, and risk frameworks. The UK leans toward principles applied by existing regulators: safety, transparency, fairness, accountability, and contestability. Other markets, including Canada, China, Singapore, and Japan, reflect local priorities. For global companies, the practical answer is regulatory intelligence translated into reusable control baselines. Regulatory applicability should be treated as an intake process, not a legal afterthought. Start with where the system is built, offered, accessed, and used. Then define the use case, the data involved, and the decisions the model may influence. Personal data, health data, biometrics, finance, employment, or safety can trigger stricter obligations. Finally, map vendors, cloud services, APIs, and outsourced operations. Each answer becomes a decision gate for escalation, control mapping, and accountable ownership. Legal requirements only matter when they become day-to-day controls. Start by translating each obligation into a control objective. Then connect it to existing programs: AI governance, risk management, security, privacy, vendor oversight, and SDLC controls. For every control, define an owner, required evidence, testing frequency, metrics, and escalation path. The goal is traceability. Anyone should be able to follow a regulation all the way to proof that the organization is managing it. The main shift is from knowing regulations exist to operationalizing them. Risk-based laws, privacy rules, and sector obligations must connect to controls, evidence, monitoring, and assurance. Treat readiness as a continuous governance capability. Next, we turn these obligations into practical compliance mappings and reusable control designs.